CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Andrew. Hudson Mack is away this evening. The Malahat is shut down in both directions at this hour after a serious crash near Split Rock. RCMP say 2 vehicles are involved. There are reports that it was a head-on crash and 3 people have been rushed to Victoria General Hospital. It happened just before 5 north of the summit on Bemberton Hill. There are reports that 1 car is teetering on a guardrail. Emergency responders remain on the scene, and we have a crew there as well, and we'll have 4 details for you tonight on CTV News at 11. A woman is recovering in an Nanaimo hospital after being struck by a suspected impaired driver. The incident happened around 1 this afternoon on Icarus Drive. A woman was walking her dog along the road when a driver lost control, struck a tree, then hit her and crashed into another vehicle. The pedestrian flung into the air and landed in some bushes. The driver tried to flee the scene but was restrained by a retired RCMP member who happened to be in the area. No life-threatening injuries were reported, and RCMP believe that alcohol and speed are a factor. A suspicious fire has left a Nanaimo man homeless for the holidays. Flames ignited in the home shortly after 1 on Gillespie Street. When fire crews arrived, the house was engulfed in flames. The next-door neighbor says he woke up to an orange glow outside his window and thought his own home was on fire.
I had my neighbors knocking on my door, telling me to get out of my house. It was bad. I don't know how long it was going on before I came out. I came out about 1:30, and it went for a while. Flames spitting out of that front window-ish, but I think it was more so the garbage on the front, and as it progressed, it was coming out all the windows and such. So,
the tenant was standing outside on the street when emergency responders arrived. There are no serious injuries or otherwise reported.
Fire showing from the front right of the house here and from the backside. The male occupant was outside, let the fire crews know there was nobody left inside the house. He was the only one living there. He was treated by the ambulance crews, and they took him up to the hospital.
The tenant of the house did not have rental insurance. The fire department is offering 72 hours emergency services. Police say they do not know where the fire began. Meantime, RCMP in Nanaimo are looking for your help tonight in tracking down a brazen jewelry thief and a missing necklace. A man dashed away with a 10-carat gold necklace after visiting a jewelry store in the city's downtown core yesterday. It happened around 5 p.m. across the McDougall Jewelers on Commercial Street. The man returned after looking at several necklaces earlier in the day. The store clerk was busy helping another customer when he heard the lock of a display cabinet being cut.
He was looking for some pieces of jewelry for his partner. They looked at various items, and then he said he'd return later with his partner. He came back a short time later, and the clerk was busy with another customer. The clerk heard a noise and realized that the fellow had actually entered into the jewelry case. He'd snapped off the lock with a tool. He then confronted him. There was a little bit of a scuffle, and the male was able to escape and ran off. Last known direction was west on Bastion Street.
The necklace is estimated around $1,500. RCMP are looking for a man about 5'11", wearing a blue hoodie over a gray hoodie with short dark hair. Now, anyone with information on this theft is asked to call Nanaimo RCMP or Crime Stoppers. More debris from Japan's tsunami is washing ashore on Vancouver Island. A torrent of garbage arrived on the beaches on Tofino over the holidays. Garbage marked with Japanese writing is littering the beaches in the area. Water bottles, socks, a toothbrush and lumber keep coming up with the current. But not all of it is from Japan, however. Some of the items are washing up from China. Tofino's mayor says he's seen more debris during a 10-minute walk recently than he has in 4 years of combing the beaches, including more personal items.
There's been more stuff coming ashore from when it started about 23 days ago. I personally went out on Schooner Cove on December 18th and went a little walk out with my family. I was surprised by the amount of stuff. When you're used to not seeing any debris on the beach, a little bit is significantly more than not. And it's interesting, kind of eerie.
The mayor suggests that some testing should be done to make sure that none of the garbage is radioactive. A boat that broke loose from a tow line is making for quite a sight near Campbell River. The derelict liveaboard was apparently being towed to Cortez Island when the operation had to be abandoned. The vessel is now hung up on some rocks in the mouth of Willow Creek. The Coast Guard attended the scene but left when it determined that no one was on board the boat at the time. The Coast Guard says its environmental response group is looking into the situation, but says by the looks of it, as there's no fuel on board, the boat poses no threat to Willow Creek or salmon in the area. And a handful of hibernating bear cubs will soon be finding a new home on Vancouver Island. The 5 bears were brought into North Island Wildlife Recovery Centre in Errington by conservation officers last spring. The bears will be released inside man-made dens scattered across North Vancouver Island next month. The bears will be tagged for monitoring, and the North Island Recovery Association says the cubs will be sedated before being transported to their new homes.
In the last few years, have released cubs in the summer months, but this year we're going to actually try for a winter release and try and release these cubs in middle of the month or so, so that they're actually out there come spring and can wake up in the wild and have a start. Right now, because the climate's so mild and the temperature's so mild, these 5 they're active times during the day, but they are definitely dopier and sleeping more. So the goal is to have them hibernating and then be able to release them out into a winter den so that they'll be able to wake up in the wild.
This is the 4th time that the Wildlife Recovery Centre has released hibernating bears on Vancouver Island.